Thank you, Michael. This next topic is especially relevant to all the women in the audience, since our next guest will be tackling exactly that issue. I'd like to discuss the issue of the Christian women's perspective in Israel 2050. I'd like to welcome Dr. Ruth Pauline Plummer, President and CEO of the Covenant Daughters Television Network. Please, Ruth.
Well, good evening, everyone. How are you? I hope you all are doing well. We are enjoying the Christian Media Summit. How many of you all are enjoying the summit thus far? Oh, now you all can do better than that. Put the hands together. Well, my name is Dr. Ruth Pauline Plummer, and I am the CEO and founder of Covenant Daughters Television Network, a network created by women for women. Covenant Daughters Television Network is a faith-based television platform with the cutting-edge ability to deliver quality programming locally, nationally, and globally. I am honored, even though I got a tall task tonight, I am honored and humbled to have the opportunity to speak to you on behalf of women in media. I want to thank you, Nitsan Ken, Hadassah Swartz, and the GPO team for your gracious invitation. I am so thankful tonight, and I feel truly blessed to have two men present that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be standing here. That is none other than my amazing husband, the love of my life, and my partner, one who has one of the fathers of Christian Television Network, Bishop Glenn Plummer, and Greg West of WATC Television 57 of Atlanta, Georgia, where I began my career in television over 25 years ago. He is here tonight, and I'm so grateful. And to every participant, to every television executive, journalist, radio and newspaper editor, and roles that are not named, thank you for all that you do to continue to tell God's story. God's story is about Israel, a land about which God says uniquely, prophetically, and repeatedly in the Bible, "This is mine." God refers to Israel as he does to no other land on earth. He raises Israel to be a light to the Gentiles. God chose Israel for a purpose, to reveal his power, his faithfulness, and loving kindness to all the earth. And God promises Israel a specific land, and we know it as the promised land. The Lord said he would bring his people to the land he chose, and he would make their descendants prosperous. And here we are, coming up on the 75th anniversary of Israel's existence, the diamond year. And we are all here tonight because we stand with solidarity and support for the Jewish state and commemorate Israel's historic accomplishments. These historic achievements bear witness of God's covenant with Israel and mankind, that his covenant still stands today as it did thousands of years ago. This is God's story. This is God's story. Christian media tells God's story. Television is simply what it means, exactly what it says. Tell a vision. Christian media tells God's vision. For thousands of years, women have been inspired by the timeless tales of individual portraits of various women in the Bible in which Christian women have come to understand what it means to be a woman of faith and have learned valuable lessons as wives, mothers and daughters, victors and victims, women who change the course of important events, and women who are powerless to affect even their own destinies. The Bible introduces to us many women like Eve, the mother of creation, Sarah, the mother of many nations, Hannah, Rachel, the mother of all Israel, Deborah, Esther, Ruth, Mary, the mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Elizabeth, etc., whose lives teach us valuable lessons. Many are a fine example to imitate, but as we say in the South, others provide warning examples, like Jezebel and Delilah. But I stand here before you tonight as a witness to the impact those Bible stories have on a woman of destiny. My grandmother introduced me to these stories, these Bible stories, and the God of these Bible stories from a very, very young age. You see, every morning before when we would be up getting ready for school, getting dressed for school, I would hear my grandmother in the kitchen making that wonderful oatmeal with raisins and cinnamon and nutmeg. I could smell it before I got there. But before you were going to get your physical meal, you were going to get your spiritual meal. You were going to read the Bible, and you were going to pray. And I'll never forget, my grandmother had ordered these encyclopedias. And so back in that day, the salesman would come to your house and make the deliveries and the sales as well. Well, this particular day, the salesman came to the house to deliver the encyclopedias that my grandmother had ordered for us because she was a believer in education. And he said, when he came to the door, we all ran as little children behind her to the door. And he said, Mary, yes, so you figured it out. I'm from the South, right? He says, Mary, I got these encyclopedias for you, but I know how you like to read those grandchildren of yours, that good old Bible. And so I brought some a Bible story encyclopedia that I thought you might like. And so my grandmother said, well, let me look and let me see them. And so he laid it out, and I'm telling you, pictures, illustrations. We got really excited because we had just been reading the text, but now we got to see pictures. And so my grandmother said, well, how much are these encyclopedias? And he said, oh, don't you worry about it. What you got, just give me whatever you have. Because Mary, I know you love to teach those children. No, he didn't say children, the Bible. And so whatever you got, you give it to me. And my grandmother got those Bible story encyclopedias for us. And oh boy, we were in for a journey for real. And so what I learned through those colorful pictures and illustrations that made me so happy as a child became my anchor as an adult. And I began to understand that women in Bible history have played a variety of roles in the life of the church and in the world. And in God's story of redemption throughout Scripture, they contributed to God's powerful work in the world and the advancement of his kingdom. The founding matriarchs are mentioned by name, as are some prophetess, judges, herons, and queens, while the common woman is largely, though not completely, unseen. The New Testament refers to a number of women in Jesus' inner circle and names women in position of leadership in the early church as well. While women were not generally in the forefront of public life in the Bible, those women who are named are usually prominent for reason outside the ordinary. So I'm simply saying to you tonight that these women were extraordinary women. For example, they are often involved in the overturning of human power structures in a common biblical literary device. Abigail, David's wife, Esther, the queen, and Jael, who drove a tent pig into the enemy's commander's temple while he slept, are a few examples of the women who turned the tables on men with power. Views of women in the Bible have changed throughout history. These strong women in the Bible held the line of faithfulness. These biblical women represent not only the kind of bravery to which all Christians are called to be in the face of suffering, but represent a uniquely powerful purpose which God has designated for women to achieve God's plan, which would otherwise be impossible. Times may have changed, but the examples of these faithful biblical heroes still shine and shine throughout women today. With over 25 years in Christian televisions, I have come to know that media, especially television media, is very important to this generation. The media plays a very important role in ensuring the societal norms, ideologies, and customs are disseminated. Socialization has been made possible and much simpler because of media. Through socialization, different societies are able to share languages, traditions, customs, roles, and values. And so, therefore, the number of women in Christian media must increase, and more should be done to present women in media as leaders and role models to the next generation of young women. We are to continue to tell Israel's story, to strengthen women with the stories that have strengthened us. We must take a close look at where we stand today. The women of old, God wrote his story through their lives, a story of hope. And today, he is still writing lives through women all over, even the women in this audience. And we can tell the story. As I hear the echo of the cries out for our children who are falling away, whether Jew or Christian, all around the world. You know the answer? We need to tell them the story. We need to tell them God's story. We need to tell them Israel's story. We need to tell them that God is still alive. And the covenant God who is with Israel is still with them today. And all you have to do is come and see. Come and see. Israel is small, but Israel has a big God who is standing by them. And we love him. And he is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. And he is still telling his story. And so I just want to say, if I had to say to the men, and on behalf of the women in media, I would say to you, God said it's not good for you to be alone. So let us help you. Let us stand beside you. We know that things have changed, and so our roles have changed, and we are impacting every sector of society. We are no longer, raising the children and having the children. We're doing that too, but we are bosses. We are employees. We are running organizations. We're sitting in high seats. But I promise you, there is a distinct between a woman of God and a woman of the world. And that is, we know how to be adaptable. We know how to be complete. And we know how to make you complete. There was a commercial that says, I know how to bring home, well, we are in Israel, so we don't eat bacon, okay? But we know how to bring home the meat, fried up in the pan, and never let you forget that you are a man. We are here to rally with you. We are not in competition with men, not godly women. We are in camaraderie. We are your camaraderie. Let us tell the story. We want to save this generation. Let's tell the story of Israel. If we want this generation to know who's the true God, let's tell them the Bible stories. Let's keep those Bible stories before our children, before the camera, before digital media. And I promise you, I guarantee you, our children will know who the true and living God is, the God of Israel. Thank you.